Hello friends, I'm Kathy Rhodes. Thank you for joining me today. I'm very excited for episode 126. Today we're going to think differently about what we need to get things done. So let's start with something simple, like what do you need to change a tire? Okay, so I took driver's ed in high school, but I gotta say, I did not indulge in the opportunity to practice changing a tire, mainly because you get dirty, and I just really am never interested in getting dirty. But we did it as a class. We didn't have to do it individually. I remember being fully encouraging to the person who did volunteer to do it. I think it was a female too. I think that was the thing. A male and a female had to change a tire, and somebody in our class was very eager to change the tire, and I absolutely let her. But I remember a few of the tools, I guess, that she needed to change this tire. For one, she needed a spare tire. Okay, there was also a jack involved and some type of tool, I don't know, wrench or I don't know really. She also needed a little muscle strength, okay, to make things work. Well, I passed driver's ed. I've been driving for, 30 some years now, and it's going very well. But I wouldn't change my own tire. No, I don't feel confident changing a tire, even though I know the right tools. You know what though? Another tool that I would definitely need is my cell phone, because I would definitely call somebody to come change a tire for me. Okay, let's take another example. What about, what do you need to put out a fire? Well, a fire extinguisher is a great answer, right? Okay, real quick, at Christmas time, I made a dish. It was sweet potatoes, and I love putting marshmallows on top of the sweet potatoes and then broiling it for a quick minute or two so that the marshmallows get golden brown and soft and melted and perfect for the sweet potato meal. I did this at Christmas time. And I've learned the hard way. By the way, I have definitely created a fire with the marshmallows in the past. So I learned the hard way that you don't just put it in the oven and think you're going to remember it. You set a timer. So that's exactly what I did. I put it in the oven, I set the timer for 2 minutes, and I shut the oven door and I went on to the sink to do dishes or whatever. Well, a minute later, my mom, nonchalantly says, "Oh, something's burning over here." I knew exactly what it was. I ran over. I was smart enough to put my hot mitts on. I pulled out the tray, and there it was, flaming marshmallows. Oh yeah, fire, big fire. Well, to me it was a big fire. When there's a fire in my kitchen, I freak out. I lose my mind. I freeze. So the whole family's there, and I'm losing it in the kitchen, and my amazing husband came to my rescue. He came over to the stove where this flaming marshmallow concoction was sitting on the oven rack. He took a huge deep breath, and he blew the fire out. He didn't even need the fire extinguisher. I think another person was at the sink getting water, but my husband just needed to take a big deep breath and blow it out. I didn't even think of that. I mean, this was a big fire to me, so I didn't even think that I'd have the capacity or ability to blow the fire out. So when there's a fire, am I confident that I can handle things? Well, no. Once again, I am not confident. Thankfully, my husband's always been around when I created a little adventure in my kitchen. Okay, so I'm 0 for 2 so far, right? I know the right tools, but I still don't have the confidence or ability to do these activities. Well, what do you need to facilitate a transformational table? Now, I know for some of you, you're like, yeah, I don't even know what that is. So when I visited Papua New Guinea last month, that's what we were doing, is we were teaching people how to facilitate transformational tables. And the tool that we had was a booklet. It was a beautiful booklet that has information inside the booklet that needs to be read during this event. And also in the booklet are questions that need to be asked and answered during the event. So the tool was readily available. We had booklets for everybody. We had booklets for the volunteers that were following us for the full week. We had the booklets for every person that wanted to be a part of a transformational table. I mean, we had hundreds and hundreds of these booklets. We had the tools. We were giving them away free. There was no obstacle to get a tool. Was there the confidence? Well, let's just talk about our volunteers. In the beginning of the week when we arrived, they were a sponge. They knew they needed to be a sponge, and they were curious and asking questions. And I think it was day 2, we actually facilitated a transformational table with the volunteer team. And we had a great time. They were totally engaged and answering questions. I mean, the conversation was amazing. Well, then we went out and we did these transformational tables with people in the community. And the goal is that when we leave the transformational table, so 1 to 2 hours with everybody, when we left that, the people would have the tools to go run their own transformational table. Well, if you go listen to episode 122, where I talk about thinking differently about multiplication, this is where I share a story that on Thursday night, the night before we were ready to leave, we had a transformational table with 150 people. Now, usually we only want about 8 to 10 people. So we had 150 people. What we did is we did the first part of the transformational table with only a few volunteers, and everybody else watched along. They were reading in their booklet and they were listening and seeing it in action. After the first half of that experience, then we split the team into groups of 10. So we had about 15 tables going on. And the coaches and the volunteers, we were told to go find a table and facilitate the second half of this experience. Well, when you listen to this episode, you'll quickly hear that the coaches, us 6 coaches, we didn't have a table to facilitate because the volunteers all took the table right away. They were so excited to facilitate their own table. They didn't need us. Our job was done. It was amazing. It was amazing. Definitely listen to episode 122 for the full story. You know, but this is where through the week we had the tool, the booklet. Through the week of watching this in action, they gained the confidence and the excitement to run with the transformational table idea. So that was an experience in itself that felt so gratifying because we knew that even though we were leaving on Friday, we truly transferred our abilities and our knowledge onto the volunteers. The right people are ready to take action in their community. Well, what do we really need to do anything? Whether we're changing a tire or putting out a fire or facilitating a transformational table. The thing that we really need are the right tools and confidence. It's easy to find the right tools. It's easy to equip yourself with the right tools. But even though I've seen people change tires, even though I watched my husband blow out the marshmallow fire, I still don't have the confidence. So how do we get confidence? Well, John Maxwell teaches the acronym I.D.E.A. And this is actually the acronym that I use when I am preparing for training or when I'm teaching people how to teach. You know, you may not be a teacher or want to be an instructor or trainer or speaker or facilitator. You may not want any of that. However, you are always in teaching mode, whether you're teaching the people you work with or new hires or strangers or children. We always have to teach something. So follow the plan. Follow this I.D.E.A principle. I stands for instruction. Before you really give anything to anybody, you need to give them instruction. Just like changing a tire in driver's ed, they gave us instruction, and there's even a manual that shows you with pictures how to change a tire. Beautiful, right? That's instruction. And then the D stands for demonstration. Not only do you need to explain what needs to be done, even document what needs to be done, but then some kind of demonstration shows it in action. It also finds any gaps in the instruction. So just like changing a tire. While I was facilitating the transformational tables, we were doing that. We were giving the instruction booklet, that was part of the tool, and we were demonstrating it the whole week. Then comes the letter E. E stands for evaluate. At this point, what's happening is I've demonstrated, I'm going to pass the baton over and let you demonstrate, and I'm going to sit back and evaluate. So I'm not going to just hand it over and run and let you go thinking you've got it under control. I'm going to see you in action. This happened about Thursday afternoon. Nathaniel was the person who was with me the whole week, and actually he was very eager. I think Wednesday right away he was facilitating his own tables because we needed more facilitators. We had such a popular influx of people coming in. But then Thursday afternoon he says, I'll take this one this afternoon if you want to sit back and watch a little bit. Like, absolutely. I remember being kind of exhausted. It was already a full day. Well, toward the end of the facilitation, he just looked over at me and said, hey, can you finish it up? Absolutely. So I picked up with it wherever he left off, and we finished it up. And later when we were talking, he says, to be honest, I don't remember what we were really talking about at that moment, but I remember him saying that he just needed a moment to regroup. He was into the conversation, he was connected, and he needed a moment to regroup. So he needed me to take over a little bit. That's a piece to remember as well. When you're teaching or training somebody, you don't want to give them everything at once and hope that they read the instruction manual and they followed the demonstrations and they're ready to go. You do want to give little increments because it's exhausting to learn something new. And as you get little increments finalized or mastered, your confidence is going to increase, right? My daughter started a new job at the beginning of this year, and she says, in the beginning of the week, I'm always kind of taught something new, and it is overwhelming, but by the end of the week, I'm confident with it, and I'm ready to learn the next thing. That's all happening within the evaluation piece of this process. So the A with I.D.E.A, that's the time to assess. That's the time when you, as the facilitator, step back and says, do they know this? Do they know that? Are they confident? Are they ready to go? Did I see any gaps? I'm fully evaluating and assessing as a whole. And that's what happened for us Thursday evening in Papua New Guinea. We gave instruction the whole week. We gave demonstration the whole week. We were evaluating, especially Thursday evening, and we assessed that they are ready to run with transformational tables. Our job is done. We can go home, even though we didn't really want to, and I would love to go back someday, but we truly assessed the situation, and we can now go home knowing they're going to continue with this mission. It is so gratifying and exciting to see confidence in other people grow. When you share your strengths with people and when you give them the right tools, in essence, you're empowering them to lead. You're also growing their confidence. They're now ready to do whatever it is that they need to do. That's all we need. We need tools and we need confidence. I hope that I've given you confidence today by sharing the I.D.E.A principle. Remember, instruction, demonstrate, evaluate, assess. Whether you're training a child or training a team member, follow this plan. You're going to equip people and empower them so that they are ready to take on the challenges that are ahead of them. Be great today, my friends. I'll see you next time.